Hey everyone, Yasin here for another Flutter tutorial video. If you'd like to follow along, I've left a link to the GitHub repo in the description. By the by, this is just a sneak peek of the project. You can catch the full Big Mama version by clicking the link in the top right. Finally, YouTube tells me that very few of you are actually subscribed to my videos. Now, huge thanks to all 22 subscribers as of this moment. I memorized all your names and I repeat them till I fall asleep each night. Let's get the show started.
The way I kind of view this is I'd like to start with the tabs at the bottom. So just get the tabs going and then we'll start working on the individual screens, especially that juicy little round thing, whatever we're gonna end up calling that. But anyway, we're gonna start with the tabs. So now I can see that the tabs are working properly. Next, we're going to work on the disk thing painter. That's this pretty little thing up here. So the first thing you notice about this image is, again, this gradient that's happening. And you have a bunch of like tiny arcs in between. And so I was looking at this and I was thinking, all right, how on earth am I actually going to implement this? Because it's kind of tricky, right? You can create arcs, sure, but to create a gradient within the arc is very tricky, especially since each one of these arcs is going to have a different gradient. And so I thought about it differently. I thought, all right, what if we just draw a circle? So just a regular circle, and then draw the black fill in between. So what's left is going to be the gradient. The circle is going to have a gradient, and then the black pieces are what we draw as arcs over the gradient circle. And so that way you get the same effect, but essentially you're doing the opposite. Instead of painting the arcs, the colored arcs, you're just painting the black surface. We're going to split each arc down the middle and color only one side. And so that way, when we shade one side black, the other is going to show the gradient through, which is kind of exactly what you want to happen here. Let's go ahead and see if that works. There we go. Once I hit save, you can see the beautiful masterpiece that resulted right over here. How cool is that? We're able to get it done pretty quickly. Next up, we're going to do the scaffolding for the rest of the screen, as well as the dotted progress bar. Let's see, how are we going to build this? Well, there's a couple of things. I think the obvious way to kind of build this would be to just use a painter, the same way we've been doing across all of our previous examples. And that is kind of obvious, right? You just take the space and you divide it, you draw circles for each one of those, and the color for each circle will be different. But that's okay, that's pretty straightforward. So I think that would be like the really, really obvious way to do this. But I wanted to try a different approach, just so I'm not always using the same thing. You can see alternative approaches that we can use to get the same thing done. So what I've done is I've got, in my assets directory, I've got a dot. And the dot is essentially just a circle with the color C4, 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 right? And I'm going to use the same dot to actually draw the entire progress bar using an image. So we're not going to use any painters at all. We're just going to use this dot, and we can assign a color to this dot commensurate with its position on the progress bar. So I know it sounds pretty out there, but this is an alternative approach that you can use to get stuff done. All right, there we go. Is that not the most beautiful progress bar, dotted progress bar you have ever seen? Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Final part left is to just create the beautiful button down there at the bottom and finish up the remaining screens. And everything just works perfectly. I'm gonna leave a link to the GitHub that you can access yourself.